got back from watching Oz the Great and Powerful, and I'm gonna tell you one thing: Disney's gonna make a shit ton of money. Guys, so Oz the Great and Powerful. I don't know really what I was expecting from this film. There was a lot of factors to count in on this, and I'm gonna talk on this one for a minute because it deserves some talking. But at the same time, if you want to cut off now, I'm just gonna tell you my overall thought was it could have been better. But there's a lot to like, and there's some stuff I really didn't like, but it might be because it's not the age group it's intended for. I'm pretty sure, I'm not the demographic, I don't think, for this movie. But so first of all, Oz the Great and Powerful. Basically, James Franco is a shoddy magician in 1902 Kansas. He gets transported via tornado to the magical world of Oz. And the thing about these movies is it kind of seems like it's in his head. And if you've seen the original Wizard of Oz, she wakes up at the end. Whatever. I don't think that's any spoiler. But to talk about this one, I think I'm going to give a few minor spoilers. So he wakes up in Oz, and it's cool because at the beginning it's black and white, 1902 Kansas, real old school theme, and then it converts to widescreen, full color, beautiful world of Oz. So the movie overall looks really awesome. It looks great. Overall, there are some things I had with the special effects, little nitpicks here and there with the special effects, but overall it looks really good. I didn't see it in 3D. I would suggest if you like Wizard of Oz stuff and you go to watch this, pay the extra for the 3D. I'm sure it looks pretty awesome. But yeah, overall the special effects, the cinematography, all that is really good. The only thing I have problem with the way it looks is the costuming. I didn't like some of the costuming, but it does fit with the original Wizard of Oz. And before I go any farther, I'm a fan of the Wizard of Oz when I was a kid. I remember always once a year when it came on before, you could just watch stuff all the time. Once a year when it came on, I'd always watch it. I was always excited as a kid. But when I got into my older phase and, started liking my horror movies and my sci-fi, I didn't like it as much. I don't like musicals that much. But I still remember enough about the Wizard of Oz, and I'm sure most people, because this theater was freaking packed, remember the Wizard of Oz, some sort of nostalgic way. So Sam Raimi, he's all over this movie because, it involves witches in Sam Raimi. You can imagine the outcome. And this is going to be the first spoiler. I mean, one of the witches by the end looks exactly like a typical Sam Raimi Drag Me to Hell witch. And I thought that was pretty funny. And there's a couple scenes, like one where James Franco's in the hot air balloon where these woods are coming through stuff's getting thrown by the tornado. And that just had like a Evil Dead-ish type feel. And they do also have a shout out to the undead when they're walking through the evil forest, which I thought was one of the funnier parts of the movie. They kind of mentioned the undead. I was like, Sam Raimi, he had to, get his licks in there, which I enjoyed those parts. So the direction was okay. The acting overall is kind of campy, but I think they do that to play into the feel of the original Wizard of Oz movie. I don't know all the core story, the books or whatever they're based on. And I know there's a play called Wicked, which I think is based on the books, but this somehow tied into that because I've heard some of the stuff about Wicked, and this has 3 different witches, and there's some twists and turns, and then basically the subplot that is best in this movie is the Wicked Witch. You get to see basically her origin. Thinking back on that, that's probably the best part of the film. And then when the Wicked Witch arrives, which I thought they could have had more of her in the movie overall, but she plays it way over the top, and it's pretty good. So all that stuff is good. It's just, first of all, it's 2 hours and 7 minutes. I thought it was a little long, and then I did have a few problems with the CGI, and then the one problem I have with Sam Raimi is I'm not the biggest Sam Raimi fan. I think his movies are a little too campy sometimes. Sometimes it works really well, like with some of the horror stuff, and sometimes it just doesn't work so well. And this kind of was a little too campy for my taste. A lot of Sam Raimi's movies are too campy. A lot of the Spider-Man stuff was too campy. I thought Drag Me to Hell was too campy. And this is a little too campy, even though it fits in better with the original theme of, Wizard of Oz, because it was an old school 30s movie or whatever, where everything was kind of like over the top, more like a stage play. So that part works. God, I'm rambling on about this. But overall, it looks okay. I mean, it looks good. See it in 3D if you can. The acting's okay. It's over the top. The story is, you just kind of get lost. The subplot with the witch is the best. The character-wise, the best character I thought was the China doll girl. She's the only character when you watch her little storyline that you feel anything for. And it's the special effects on that part were just really awesome. I guess they used the puppeteer mixed with CGI, and so practical and CGI once again works really well as far as that goes. Um, and what else can I say about it? I don't know. I think if you like the Wizard of Oz, you're gonna love it. They had the lion reference. They had a scarecrow reference. I couldn't catch the Tin Man reference, which pissed me off because Tin Man's my favorite character. But yeah, so I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 stars. But when I say 3 out of 5 stars, it's average. Anybody's gonna kind of like it, I think, pretty much. It's entertaining. It's visually pleasing. It's a decent story. Most people know the Wizard of Oz that have watched TV at some point in their life, especially American cinema. You know the Wizard of Oz. Um, so I think there's a lot of things that entertain you about the film. It's just not that great overall. Sam Raimi, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan, so take my 3 out of 5 with a grain of salt. One thing I really like too, and this is kind of another little spoiler, they do have one scene, and they kind of showed on one of the trailers where the little munchkins or whatever they call them break into song and dance, and I like that because it kind of was. I could relate to that. James Franco's like, "Hey, just stop them," whatever. It's like just stupid, which I thought was funny. But 3 out of 5 stars. If you see it, watch it in 3D. I think it'd be worth the extra money, which I would never say, but I think this will look pretty cool in 3D. The Wicked Witch is cool. The China Doll is cool. Tell me what you thought about those characters down below. What you thought. I thought the witch's face was a little too round like mine. Thought it should have been more like sucked in, angular. She would have made a slightly better Wicked Witch. But I like the way she looked overall, the way they explained the broom. Tell me what you thought about it below if you saw it and you've sat through 7 minutes of video. You probably want to tell me something. That's it for the Oz the Great and Powerful, and I'll be back with more of my normal crap later this week. See you guys.